Okay, here we go. This is my kickoff video for this YouTube channel that I'm embarking on. It really is a whole lot more than that. I first thought about this being a repository for my technical videos for my current students, but then it became clear to me that the path I'm on here is so much more than that. And it's something that I want to share just for no other reason than for you to have a feeling for how did I get to doing what I'm doing now. So I'm going to start going backwards and in terms of giving you a summary of where I'm at right now in terms of this technical career. I am still doing local tutoring and some online tutoring here in Phoenix with high school and educational, university educational students. That's changing. And I think I'm going to get to the details of that probably in another video, but I'm likely going to be moving. I'm looking and very committed to getting into the data science world. One thing you're going to find out from me, and it's kind of how I handle my students, I don't spoon feed them. I give them enough to get the seeds planted because it's my job to prepare them for life. And that is, they're going to have to learn to exist on their own 2 feet, learn how to do research, learn how to learn, and learn how to do it on their own. And I'm sure that I will get into some somewhat editorial comments as relating to the overall educational system, but not really the educational system in the sense of it's really not even just an educational mindset, but the mindset of how we live our lives on this earth and in this universe and what it means to be able to live. And so you're going to hear a lot of personal philosophy in that regards. And that's why the title of my channel here has to do with the term wanderlust. You're going to see two names on there, Feynman and Batutu. I'm going to put my words to the test, and I'm not going to go through a full definition here. If you care to know what those mean, look it up. And then the, try to understand or to map those to the concepts of wandering and lifelong learning. And I think you'll begin to get a better picture then of where I'm going. So right now I am in Phoenix. I'm doing a lot of the tutoring that I've mentioned. The tutoring world is kind of slowed down somewhat. I think that that has a lot of reasons. And a lot of it has to do with, from a high school point of view, what district you're in, what teachers they have, and to be perfectly blunt, the involvement of parents. And I have some of the most incredible parents. And my students, all students need that. They need to know what their kids are doing, what they know, what they don't know, and to become actively involved in that process. And I see that, and sometimes I don't because of lots of reasons. And it's not my place to judge. It's just to comment on what I see and what could be done to improve students' performance, but even more important, their ability to learn how to learn. That's probably the one skill that students don't have taught to them is how to learn to learn. I have many students, and frankly, this is due to a lot of what I see in the school settings where they are spoon fed. And if they don't do the research on their own, then they don't do well. And they're not taught that the students own their own outcomes and how to solve that. I spend a lot of time with my students on that, and I've seen some real miracle stories that the students have caused to happen. So where I'm at right now is that I'm going to be migrating into the data science world. Again, I'm not going to go through a whole dissertation on what data science is about. Obviously, a lot of AI topics are talked about and what is happening in what you might see like the machine learning world or deep learning. Like I have mentioned, if you want to learn more about that, research it. It mostly is not what you hear. This is the AI world, more or less, is not about people losing their jobs or about, the iRobot movie with Will Smith having to fight off the robots. That's not what this is about. And in fact, the issue, and there are some really good articles about this, how ultimately employment may have to go up as AI is adopted more and more, because it's going to take involvement from technical mindsets, or even more importantly, mindsets that are thinking mindsets. What really happens in this whole AI world is that, at least in the corner that I'm in data science, has to do with what you might learn is called uh, um, training. Like you go through training to train your body. Well, these AI models you see are about training the models, but not based on rules of, for the machine to work, then this has to happen, then this. No, that's not how it works. These data models are trained by exposing the models, which are just software programs, to gobs and gobs and gobs of data. And through pattern matching, the models begin to quote unquote learn. That's what's happening for the most part. Yeah, there's nuances that are more or less complicated than that, but data science is about training models by data. So I don't foresee that we're going to have, gobs and gobs of people getting laid off and the computers are going to do all the programming. I don't know. We shall see what extent that's going to happen. So what does this mean for me? I decided that I'm going to move, or let's call it migrate, out of the tutoring world into the data science world. Now, I'm never going to fully leave the concept of helping and educationally involved with people. And I don't say that just with students, because frankly, you can see my gray hair, and I see more and more adults who are changing careers, or I'll say migrating, based on the skills that they have always had. And that's where you get to learn a little bit more about me. I'm a math guy. I've always been a math guy. And so I talked to my roommate from college in my freshman year, Steve Hodges. And Steve retired as a lead actuary for Nationwide Insurance. He was one of the most intuitively brilliant guys I've ever seen. So you want to talk about lifelong learning. I remember as a freshman, he was taking organic chemistry, and I would wake up 3 in the morning and see him working on his organic chemistry homework. But yet he was a math major and a chemistry major. So that was, I didn't realize at the time, is and was a source of great inspiration for me. Our University of Dayton, was and still is very strong mathematics university. And I got involved to some degree in the actuarial science program. Steve, well, I think I just mentioned, became a head actuary. I did, although, you know, this is a topic for another post. You know how in social media people talk about don't have regrets? I don't believe that. Regrets are motivating, at least to me. And I may be different than most people. And I've been told that by enough people that I probably believe that. But I regretted not um, finishing up my university program at Dayton. I went off and did other things and finished up with a bachelor's degree in computer science, which I turned that into my first career, if you will. However, as I was going through this, and I've been tutoring, by the way, for over 10 years, and I knew it was time for a change. I will be honest and say I have suffered through personal frustrations where I'm trying to teach things to my students, tutoring wise, that are taught incorrectly by their classroom instructors. And the students, by and large, are not being taught how to think. Now, there's always exceptions, and there are good teachers, there are good schools. But it is not uncommon to have high school students who don't understand how to add and subtract fractions. I'm not pointing out or criticizing any students. I'm just calling it like it is. Grades have gone through, well, you think we've been going through economic inflation. Students' grades are going through inflation and have been for about 20 years now. So it's very interesting to listen to university admission counselors talk about how, let's just say 10 years ago, they would see maybe one or two applications per week that had over a 4.0 GPA. Now they get 10 or 20 per day. Are the students that much more smart? No, I don't think so. And I'm equating the grades to smartness, which is not a good analogy in general, but yeah, grade inflation is deadly serious. And the kids, the students believe, yeah, I'm doing B work. Not really, because the level of mastery is not there. So I don't want to go off much further on that at this point. But I've decided to go take a certification from MIT in data science. It was pretty darn challenging. I became very aware the breadth of the data science world. This certification was very broad and it was as deep as it could be. But when I finished up the certification, it was clearly obvious that I wasn't quite ready yet to jump into the employment side of things. I'm close, but I did not feel comfortable with the lack of depth. So right now I'm going through a series of, so much material, so much good community material out there in data science. You just have to go to YouTube and just search data science or just search on machine learning or data analytics, and you will see more material than you can even get your hands around. So right now, I'm going through that effort of spinning up in initially the data analytics world and parts of the machine learning world. I will be moving. I'm kind of done with Arizona and I kind of want to return to my Midwest roots. I have several different ideas. We'll get more into that as that happens. One of the areas I'm also looking to pursue is getting even a non-paying position with a data analytics firm to just get my feet on the ground. And I'm going through what's called data cleaning, if you want to know what I'm doing. So I'm online now going through data sets that exist. This is all really good stuff for you to know if you ever had any interest. And this is definitely a topic for another day because the bottom line on data science, and I'll probably wrap up with this in regards to uh, companies need to know their customers. They know they have them, but they really don't know them. So my capstone project that will be going into my GitHub. Those of you who know what GitHub is, then you'll know what I'm referring to, where my capstone project results and yeah, implications are there. It was a great project and something that companies are looking for. For example, companies want to get a handle on their marketing budgets. They know that they have lots of different segments of customers, but they don't have a good handle on what that really means. So data science models, if they're trained with enough data, can begin to come to conclusions as to what kind of buying patterns, what kind of other personal characteristics do company customers have that can be generalized into segments. And that's done with AI models. Now, once you do that, and then you can target your marketing dollars. It makes no sense, as most business owners who are looking at this, for you to go spend your marketing dollars on every possible client or customer you have. They're different. They have different needs, they have different interests, different products mean different things to them. That's what this project was on. And then I put together a little marketing plan for this company once they understood their data. So that's the name of the game. And that's always the first step in the data science, or really more accurately, the data analytics world, is to get a handle on your data. So that's now that I've gone through that now, that's probably my next video, is to give a good description of what that means. Let me know any feedback you have on the content or even the format of the video. I got a new headset. I am so happy with this that 90% of the background noise is not there. I'll know for sure when I listen to this again. And let me know questions. I mean, if you're a blast from the past, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you're doing, especially if there's any data science people out there. I'd love to collaborate or just see what you're doing. Actuaries out there. I'd love to hear about how your world has gone. So this is it. Reply with a comment here. You should have my email in the YouTube channel, and send me a note. Love to hear from you.